You're doing too much. This is one of the number one things that I see people struggle with when it comes to manifesting is how to get into receiving mode. So in other words, trying way too hard to get the law of attraction to work, and you kind of just end up getting in the way of yourself. You get in your own way. And the miracle of manifesting is the fact that you don't really have to do much. It just comes to you. You just need to basically stand there with your hands out in receiving mode. Now, there may be actions to take, yes. And I've spoke of this before in other manifesting videos. You can go check them out on my YouTube channel here. I got a whole bunch of free law of attraction videos on my YouTube channel. And I keep adding them to my playlist. There's a playlist if you want to go check them out. That way you don't have to dig around my YouTube channel looking for them. It's called Manifest Your Dream Life. And again, like for example, if you're trying to manifest $1 million, which is kind of a lot of money, you might win the lottery. Sure, that has happened. Or maybe what's going to happen is you're going to attract like people, resources, and circumstances that you can use to make the $1 million. And it's going to be opportunities that you didn't have before. And I'm always kind of talking about this be, do, have thing, right? So what this video is about is the being part. Because what everybody else is up to, even when it comes to manifesting, they're doing all these techniques and stuff. And techniques are fine, but they're way too focused on that, right? And so now they've converted the being part into doing. So what everybody does in the world, everybody in the world, right? And just anybody who doesn't even really believe it or recognize, I should say, the law of attraction, they're going to start with doing. So in case you've never heard me talk about this before, and then I'm going to do some things, and then I'll have whatever I want, and then I'll be happy. And what I'm telling you is start with being. Be. And then you'll attract people, resources, circumstances, and the like to you, opportunities, right? And then when those opportunities come along, then you're going to take some action, and then you'll have whatever, the money. But you started with being, which is what the law of attraction is all about. You're changing what you are being energetically to be a match to what it is that you want to have. And then all of a sudden you find yourself in situations where it's like, oh gosh, if I do this, I'll have the thing I wanted. Ha! How about that? So with these law of attraction techniques, which are fine to do, it's okay to engage in techniques. Often I see people struggling with like overdoing it. And then they get really focused on those techniques, and then it becomes like a chore. Or they feel like they're struggling, right? You ever get the feeling like you're struggling with manifesting? And I got to tell you, there should be no struggle. If you feel like you're struggling with manifesting, that's your first clue right there. Now, I want to point out that for this to really work requires like a big lifestyle change. And this is what I'm always telling you in these videos. This is the secret, like the little wax seal with the S, like from the movie The Secret, right? Yeah, you got to make this a way of life. And that's what I'm all about on this channel is I'm like, dude, fuck it. I'm just going to tell you guys the truth. I'm going to give it to you raw. I'm going to give it to you straight. This ain't no one and done thing, guys. If I gave you like a get rich quick scheme or something, would you believe me? Of course not. But if you apply yourself, if you make manifesting a way of life and make your habit to change what it is you're being, then you'll start to see results. So this manifesting business is a way of life, and that's what this video is all about. That's what people, they kind of lose sight of that. It's not about necessarily the techniques. or whatever it is, or making sure that you're this or that or the other, what it is you're being, your energy. You are doing that, but you even got to take a step back from your daily life. Like, what if you could just see what you're doing from an intermediary position between your higher self and your 3D self? What if you were like watching yourself in time? What if you could somehow watch yourself from a place in time or space, because you know time is relative, it's malleable, where from your point of view, what you experience in your 3D body is a whole week. In your 3D body, what you experience in your 3D body as a whole week, you would experience it as one day. Like, what if you could move up dimensionally? Just go with me. Just go with me here. I want to try to make you understand the paradigm shift that I'm talking about. That's why I'm using this kind of strange sounding analogy. So your 3D self, you experience a week, but you're on this higher plane where somehow that's like a day for you. So what you would see is this blur of energy all the time. You would see from that angle, you would see 3D you running around and doing all these things to cultivate energetically being what it is I want to have, right? That's essentially the law of attraction. You want to be an energetic match. And so you're up there looking down at your 3D body, running around doing all this stuff like a big blur. All of the things that you're doing in a week to cultivate this being, only it happens from your point of view in one whole day. And you'll, after a while of watching yourself do that, think about this, guys. Think about like what you're doing on a weekly basis when it comes to your manifesting, and how much you are fretting over all of the parts and pieces. Are you able to visualize this example I'm explaining to you here? Like, you see yourself, take a step back is what I'm telling you. Take a step back from your daily, weekly, monthly habits, manifesting routine, your habits, and go, wait, yeah, maybe I'm too like frantic. It's an energy. It's not like cognizant. You're not like fully aware of everything you're doing from moment to moment in your 3D world. You're just kind of going through these motions. But when you add it all up, it all adds up to kind of a lack state, because you're doing all these things to accomplish being. Does this kind of make sense to you guys? I hope this makes sense, the analogies that I'm using here. And so often I see people struggle with this because they're trying too hard to manifest. And so you have to look at your manifesting way of life, it's a way of life, as like an internalized experience. Like, how do you feel about it overall? Like a big picture point of view, this macrocosmic perspective. And ask yourself, am I enjoying the process? You should type that down in the comments below. Think about it. Really, am I enjoying the process? What am I unconsciously doing? These manifesting habits. Now that I'm doing this law of attraction thing and I'm taking it seriously, am I just kind of blindly going through the motions, or am I really enjoying my life moment to moment to moment? You know, this makes me think of something Abraham Hicks talks about. She calls it segment intending, right? This is kind of what she's talking about. From this segment to this segment to this segment to this segment of your day, are you enjoying yourself? The biggest thing that you could ever do is gratitude, just right off the bat. And, you know, my Manifest Your Dream Life coaching program, the actual paid program, not my free stuff on the YouTube channel. That stuff's good too. But my paid program, you know, I spent a lot of time on the science at the beginning of that program. And that's important, but what I tell people in the very first video of that program is, look, I'm going to spend a lot of time on the science, but I feel like you kind of want to get started now. So I'm going to give you something that's super easy to do, and that's to have gratitude. Just get started on that right now. Cultivate that right now. Do that every day from moment to moment to moment. Always, always, always place yourself in a state of acceptance and gratitude for what you already do have. And I've got more, by the way. I've got more tricks to share with you. I'm not just going to throw gratitude at you and call it good. But this is a big one, guys. It's so important that it was the very first thing I talked about in my paid coaching. You can go check that out on my website if you're interested. We've already signed up 500 people, and it's barely been a year, right? It's a really great program. Okay, so you are in a state of from moment to moment to moment in your daily life, just always keeping that gratitude in check. Is my life easy and fun? Or am I making a drudgery of it? And then on top of that, people make a drudgery out of these manifesting techniques. And again, techniques are fine, but I feel like you should maybe think of the outcome as being right now. Like, hey, I'm here. I wrote a sticky note and I put it on my computer monitor a few weeks ago because I was in the middle of a big project and I was like really pushing to get it done by the deadline, and I did, right? It was good. It was fine. It was great. I was actually having for the most part, a lot of fun the whole time. I was overcoming challenges and it was awesome to do that. But there was just a little twinge of maybe like drudgery, like, oh God, I gotta do this work. I'm working too hard. There was kind of a little bit of that. And just right at the most opportune moment, I heard something somebody said, and it was so good, I had to write it on a sticky note, and I put it on my computer, and it said, just remember, where you are today is exactly where you dreamed about being 5 years ago. That's what it said. I wrote that on a sticky note. Just remember, where you are today is where you dreamed about being 5 years ago. And maybe that's not true for you, but what I'm getting at is how people get sucked into these states of lack inadvertently, and it's a state. Do you remember earlier when I was trying to explain this concept of like a subconscious experience, like you just going through the motions of life? But if you could look at yourself from a higher dimension, you would see like a blur of like somebody frantically doing all this stuff all the time, right? And it would make you realize, wait, I'm trying too hard. This should be easy and fun. Right, guys, gratitude. What can you be grateful for right now? Now, let me give you this other thing that you can use in combination with gratitude. And it is a technique, but it works. It worked really good. And I believe they call it the law of assumption. So for example, of course this is working out, right? Of course this is working out. Or this always happens to me. You ever say that to yourself? But usually we say that when it's something bad that happens. What about when something good happens? What about when you're having a good day or you feel good? Or you drove all the way home from work and you only hit one red light, or you didn't hit any red lights. Say that to yourself. Gosh, yeah, this always happens to me. What are the things in your life that you can have gratitude for, where you can just assume, oh yeah, this always happens to me? Or of course this experience is taking place. Of course this awesome thing is going on. Really start deprogramming yourself from the franticness. Get into a gratitude attitude. And remember, this video is about how to be in receiving mode. And basically what I'm coaching you on is how to just step back and take a chill pill. And I do a lot of meditation. This is a big one too. I tell my coaching students, 80 to 90% of your manifesting game is your Zen game. Make a lifestyle out of Zen. Interweave it into your daily life, moment to moment to moment. What are you doing? So, every half hour or hour, I'll just take pause and go look out the window and just chill. Just for a minute. It's just 1 minute, right? Right. So I'm just going to chill moment to moment to moment. I never allow myself to get energetically worked up. And here's the last thing that I'm going to share with you that's going to make this all work together. All of these parts that we're talking about in this video. This is huge, guys. You're just going to have to be patient. You've heard of divine timing, and that's like one of the most annoying things that you learn about when you're doing manifesting, but it is kind of true. You have to take your hand off the steering wheel and just let the universe do the work. Get out of your own damn way. And remember, there's a time delay. We live in density. It takes a long time. You got to keep putting energy out there into the universe for like months before you might even start to get some intuitive hits, start to see some signals, numbers, signs, synchronicities, something that happens, let alone the actual thing that you want, right? Could take a while. So just slow down. This could take a while, and I'm just cool with that. And the thing is, you don't need to freak out about the timetable. It'll come, and when it does, it'll be effortless. That's the whole point behind this. It's the law of attraction. It's like this magic thing. It's not really magic. It's really technology, right? But it feels magical when it happens. And it just comes to you. It just shows up, right? And it's almost like I didn't have to do anything for it. I was just here energetically. And all of these opportunities started presenting themselves to me. But here's the thing that I'm saying right now. You're just here energetically for a long time. So just chill. Just chill and let it come to you. There's a time delay. 3D reality is slow and clunky. That's all it is. So there you go, guys. I hope I have gave you some clarity today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.